Good morning, everybody. It's Millennium Madman here, and I had a video posted ready to post for yesterday. Decided not to do that. I've had some time to think about it. Got some more information on the situation. First and foremost, thoughts and prayers to Charlie Kirk's family. For those of you who don't know, I'm sure you do. You're not here otherwise. Charlie Kirk was assassinated yesterday. At a event for Turning Point USA at Utah Valley University. It was an open-aired event. There were about 3,000 to 3,500 people there, and they had just begun the event. And at that point, he had begun discussing two-way gun control with someone and was shot from about 200 yards away by a sniper who, with a singular shot him in the neck. So, for those of you who didn't know the generals of the story or the summary of the story, there it is. There's a lot of, this is we're getting to a dangerous point in this country. People need to realize this. Very dangerous. For not the reasons you think or what the media is portraying to be the things that you should be concerned about. By the way, MSNBC, CNN could go to hell for their coverage. And for anybody who is out there celebrating this person being ended, I think you really need to take a step back and assess what's really going on here. Why now? So there's a lot of questions to this. And there's a lot of angles to this that people are not aware of and people aren't talking about. Why now? Why this guy? Why now? Because if anybody is thinking, oh, this is just a random act, this was not a random act. This was not a random act. This was not random timing. This was done on purpose. We will find this out. Well, actually, no. Will we find this out? That's a better question. I'll get into that more. Yeah, this is a difficult situation. This is not good for a lot of different reasons. The political right in this country, and I'm going to say right and left to humor all of you out there so you can follow along with me, honestly. The political, quote, right out there is hopping mad. They're angry. And as they should be. For the last 5 years, anybody with conservative values, conservative viewpoints has been targeted, silenced, imprisoned, shot. And for what and for who? Why? Because because a segment of our country didn't agree with what he had to say. This was a guy who literally spent his time. Now, whether you agreed with Charlie Kirk on everything or not, which I did not. But there's, more that I agreed with him on that I didn't agree with him on. That's beside the point. Couple of things that have come to light that I don't think people are aware of regarding Charlie Kirk. So Charlie Kirk, over the last, I'd say 6 months to a year, as more people on the right have been understanding what's going on with Israel and everything that is happening in Gaza and are finding more information out regarding that. People on the right are beginning to understand that your influencers are influencing you with angles and with ulterior motives in mind. And whether Charlie Kirk realized it or not, or knew, or was fully aware of what he was, fully aware of what was supporting him, remains to be seen. That being said, before Charlie passed, my questions to him was, you're a pretty smart guy. You come out and you go and you have these debates with people and you're forefront to the discussion. But how much are you aware of where you're getting the money from and who's funding you to go on these endeavors and go out and present the information you are? There were many people on the right-hand side who were questioning people like Charlie Kirk, still questioning people like Patrick Bet-David, questioning guys like Steven Crowder, Jimmy Dore, all of these guys who get on and purport to be these advocates for any type of thinking, any type of ideology. But then to find out that, we can't touch Israel. We can't talk about Israel. We can't talk about what is going on with Israel. Why are all the things happening over there that it's happening over there? That's been the conversation that led up to what I don't believe is any kind of a coincidental event whatsoever. I posted a couple things. If anybody is not, follow me on Instagram, DDT018Z. You can find me there. I post stuff regarding, a lot of things all the time. Anybody thinking this was an accident or this was coincidence or the timing was, none of this was coincidental. None of it. Now, I don't know who the shooter is because conveniently they somehow escaped. A shooter was able to fire a shot from 200 yards away. There's cops there. Law enforcement apprehends somebody. The shooter gets away. Come to find out later that the person that they apprehended was not a person of interest. The actual shooter who was up on a building that it looks like from, an angle that some random person got, looked like they actually saw the person get up onto the building. There's a couple reasons this is not an accident. Mysteriously, they can't find out who the shooter was. They weren't able to apprehend the shooter, and he's at large. Or they are at large, I should say. You've got that situation. You've got the situation where Charlie Kirk was taking a lot of heat from the right, from a lot of different aspects, because of Israel. And the funny part about this is, and this is stuff that I took time. I posted a video, and then I was like, you know what? Wait a minute. I want more information. I want to hear more of what's going on or what people are saying regarding this. And sure enough, nobody through like the MSN, Fox, any of your mainstream, which is not surprising, none of them have discussed the fact that Charlie Kirk was dealing with issues from his own side regarding questions from Israel or about Israel. That wasn't brought up. It also wasn't brought up that Charlie Kirk was beginning to lose debates because there were people who were finding ground on the right side of things and were presenting information about what Israel was doing that was causing Charlie Kirk to get mopped up in debates. Turn around, and then over the last couple weeks, Charlie Kirk has started to change his rhetoric regarding Israel. He began questioning things that were going on. And here's the problem. And people will say, well, why Charlie Kirk? Well, here's the thing. When you're receiving money from a PAC, which Charlie Kirk was, and then you begin to bite the hand that feeds you in the propaganda machine that we're in, does anybody think this is really coincidental? So it's funny. Charlie Kirk starts having these issues, starts finding himself on the losing end of debates, and Charlie Kirk is a smart enough guy, or was a smart enough guy, and he had to start asking himself some difficult questions about the people who were handling him, where he was getting his money from, the platform in which he married with to be able to present the information that he was presenting to people. Nobody was talking about any of this. Charlie Kirk starts to has Ben Shapiro on to his show and asks the simple question of, hey, I found this hard to believe regarding Israel, but, when you go over and you see it, and you see that the place is a fortress, and you see that it is a dystopian hellscape, and that there's cameras everywhere, and they've got their people monitored to the gills. And you've got teenagers, Israeli teenagers, all of them have AKs. They're all walking around. It's a police state. Charlie Kirk goes on, has Ben Shapiro on for his show, and basically just asks that question. Are we possibly, or is it possible that the Israeli government is somewhat complicit in what's going on? Now, granted, anybody who's following what's going on could have pushed far harder on Ben Shapiro in that instance. They could have done that. Charlie Kirk, but though, because he's handled by them and is taking money from them, simply begins asking the question. And that was it. That was it. And you would say, well, what's the difference between somebody like myself who's asking questions, some regular person who's asking questions? Well, guess what, folks? We're not going around to college students where we're able to affect the conversation to the degree that Charlie Kirk was affecting the conversation, or would have affected the conversation by continually opening that door. I love it today. Everybody has their pre-planned thoughts and prayers to Charlie Kirk and his family, which I started it off the same way. What else do you say? What else do you say to a 31-year-old man who's no longer with us and leaving 2 kids behind and a wife? And why? And for what? So let's look at this from a couple of different angles. Let's look at this from the left, who's celebrating the fact that they've killed somebody who has expressed fundamental ideas they disagree with. The left in this country, that is why you're not going to win another election. You continue to do what you're doing. This is a message to the people out there, the left wing, the Sam Cedar watchers, all you Sam Cedar guys out there, all of you people who watch The View or watch the regular news and think you're actually getting, keep celebrating. This is why you won't win another election. This is why, even in spite of people being murdered and blackmail and lies and all the other things that are happening right now, at least the right wing, the quote right wing, at least conservatives will stand up and say, wait a minute, that's not what I voted for. Wait a minute, that's not what you said you were going to do. Wait a minute, I don't support this. I've heard plenty of people on my side of things go and talk about Trump, go and talk about what's going on, go and say, hey, this is not what we voted for. I didn't vote for Iran. I didn't vote for a fight with Iran. I didn't vote for a fight with Venezuela. I didn't vote for any of this, let alone you adding to it and being a leader in the problem becoming bigger anyways. I've heard countless people on the right, countless, who have said, go after Trump. Everybody needs to be paying attention to what's going on. This isn't what we voted for. Enough is enough. And still, when you talk to a liberal, still, it's always, well, Biden would have done this. Or no, he wouldn't have. Wake up, idiots. You know what I call the left? You know what people on the right should be calling the left? Useless idiots. If you're someone right now and it's triggering you, you are one of the useless idiots. Stop being played with, stop being manipulated and controlled. Got news for everybody on the left. For everybody who's applauding Charlie Kirk's murder today, it will be you next. Do you think Trump and this government and this blackmailed government that you have, do you think they care about your rights? Do you think that you won't be next? Right now, they're using you because you're still clapping and applauding what's going on. Now, for anybody who thinks I'm done with the right here, I'm not. For anybody on the right who's sitting there and saying, well, this is war and damn, and they killed another one. When is enough for you? And if you think those useful idiots, the liberals, are your problem, they're not. I'm not going to go a ton of time on this. I'm going to hit you with some facts. The timing on this is amazingly coincidental. It's amazing that it happened on September 10th, one day before 9/11, and on the same exact day that in 2001, Donald Rumsfeld gets up in front of everybody and says, hey, we can't find $2.5 trillion. Conveniently conveniently forgotten. All of this is being done on purpose. The dates, the times, everything. It's all being presented to you. Don't question. Don't ask the wrong questions or you will be shot. That was a huge message for everybody yesterday. It's not about having a conversation. It's about asking the wrong questions. It's about you getting to a conclusion that is not in your pre-planned, pre-packaged Americana, or even what you think you've been told and what you think you know. It's none of those things. I think it's so humorous at this point. It's the same song and dance. Someone dies for what they believe in, what they said, for existing within a framework that whatever diabolical scheme is going on above us is being allowed. You want to know the son of a bitch of this entire thing? Everybody's like, justice for Charlie Kirk, justice for What justice? I'll ask a left question here. The one that they're always asking. What justice? Was there justice for Diddy? Was there justice for the people who were abused by Diddy? Was there justice for Epstein? Is there any justice being done for the people who were victims of Epstein? And I love it. They'll get the left and the right to go back and forth and holler at that. It's like the mad left. The crazy lunatic left. The Nazi right. And they're taking both of your fucking rights away from you as you sit there and argue back and forth amongst each other. The foolish right who sit there and celebrate that we have to send National Guard in to cities because Democrat-led cities that have been ignored for decades, in bed with Republicans who have hollowed out those cities for decades, creating the very lawlessness and chaos that the left is sitting there saying there's crime all over our streets. Nothing is being done. And the right goes and says, nothing is being done on our streets. Nothing's being taken care of. So what do if you're a puppet master? You get both of them to play each other. You get both of them to yell at each other, think they're the problem. Then you send National Guard in. And you've got the right who's like, finally. Because they've seen enough of the chaos. They've seen enough of the madness. And so they'll cheerlead it. They'll cheerlead them federalizing your police departments. And the left will do it too. You're all being played. Everybody today who's celebrating Charlie Kirk's death, just remember, you're going to be next. For all these right-wing grifters out there, it's a message to you. For the Patrick Bet-Davids, for the Jimmy Dores, for the Steven Crowders, for the Megyn Kellys. This is how I will end this video. Why did what happened to Charlie Kirk happen? And why is it going to continue to happen if we don't start telling the truth? It's for that exact reason. It's for that exact reason. The American people are tired. We've been robbed, raped, pillaged, and laughed at in the process. We're done. We're done with grifters. We're done with people who are selling us t-shirts and hats and saying everything's great while we're getting pissed on. If you're going to have a message in this country at this point, and this is something for everybody, if you're going to have a message, you'd better make sure you're not in bed with anybody else. That's why I'm here without a background. That's why I'm here with 30 viewers. And that's why somebody with neon signs and t-shirts that they can sell you, they're promoted because they will give you a message that does not tell you the whole truth. And for the right wing, they're giving you some of the truth. That way they can sort of keep you hooked. But you've got to start questioning these people. It's time to start questioning these people. I message all these guys all the time. And it's like, give me time on your show. I will tell you what's going on. I'll let you know. I'll let you know why you're seeing what you're seeing. You will continue to see assassinations, and they will rise. They are already rising. Look at what happened to Luigi from United Health. Look at what happened to that girl in the train, the Ukrainian refugee. What happened to her in the train? This is all rising. The mental health, the desperation, the anger, the frustration, the not being heard, being lied to, spit on, laughed at. People are done with it. People are done with it. My thoughts and prayers are to Charlie Kirk and his family, of course. I'm going to give you the cliche that everybody goes on to X and it's like, oh, let me pour out my profound condolences for Charlie Kirk, and everybody wants to make sure. And it's funny, they all, oh, the temperature and the volume has been turned up. Who turned it up? Who turned the volume up? Beg your pardon? Was that me? Was that regular Joe over at Waffle House trying to survive? Or was that assholes on TV? Was that people on TV who have been ratcheting up, calling people Nazis, saying people deserve to die, saying take it to the street, saying go to people's houses? You started this. All of you fuckers started this. And yeah, I'm talking to Congress too. All of you people, you parade, charade, and act all day long. And you think when you turn the temperature up and volume up and you turn up the degree on all of that and people can't eat, people can't put a roof over their head? This isn't politics anymore, folks. This is survival. This is about surviving. Charlie Kirk played a dangerous game by going out and saying what he felt in life. Today, that is a dangerous situation. It's even more dangerous, and this is my message to the right. You fuckers had better get all of the nonsense out of your messaging, and you'd better actually bring the entire truth of what's going on. Otherwise, you will be replaced. And you will have people, desperate people, who are going to continue to pull acts like this. And if that's not popular, I don't care. It's the truth. The problem is, here is the root issue, is that people in this country are still playing politics. People are still trying to grift, trying to make their money by not being about what they are. You'd better start. People are done. People can't eat. People can't pay their bills. People can't put a roof over their heads. People are wondering about sending their kids to school and whether they're actually going to get any sort of an education or whether they're going to come back in a body bag. How much longer? There's no condoning the violence that's going on. But you're going to see more of it until we actually address the issues, until the American people are actually heard the way they need to be. That's why you have this going on the left, because they're still not being heard. That's why you've got this going on the right, because they are done. All you politicians, all you motherfuckers out there, you'd better understand, people are done. Is that a threat from me? No. Am I calling for violence? No. I'm telling you what it is. I'm telling you what it is. Decades and decades of taking from people, generational wealth stealing, damaging of families, policies that have hurt people. I could go on and on and on. Warmongering, being the world police, being an empire. It's not what anybody wanted. That's not what any of the people of this country ever wanted. You can easily go back and look at the history on that. Left or right, nobody wanted this. Nobody wanted what we have right now. How many more wars? How many more wars do we go to where there's no account? They don't even vote anymore. They don't even act like they need your approval. You've got a system that is not accountable to its people. Period. They sit there on their hill that you never see them in your neighborhoods. They're never in your neighborhoods. They're never in your communities. They don't look around. They don't have to drive it. They don't have to see it. They don't live it. They live in their rich neighborhoods away from you, away from the poor people. Charlie Kirk died because he started asking the right questions. There's your message. For the left and the right, there's the message. You're free until you say something that we don't like. Until you disrespect donors, the shadow donors that are actually funding your democracy. It's all a joke. Your democracy that everybody is shouting about on MSNBC, CNN, Fox, all of them. Your democracy was taken from you long ago. It was gone long ago. You are presented with the idea that you have a choice on something. Oh, well, Millennial Madman, you're crazy. You're a crazy person. You're never given a choice on anything that's important. They're pre-planned options presented to you, subscribed to give the same result, which is what you've been seeing. That's why for all the fools out there who's like, oh, well, after we get rid of Donald Trump, and what? And what? What, go to Gavin Newsom, who burned down his city and can't keep water in a fire hydrant? That criminal? Or do you want the current criminal that you have? Or do you want J.D. Vance, who is going to continue to usher in Palantir and the complete stripping of every ceremonial thought that you think you have of any freedom in this country? None of these people are in your corner. None of them are working for you. None of them will work for you. It is time. It is far past time for this government to step down. We've seen what this does, and it doesn't work. This entire Congress is completely corrupted from top to bottom. And you're going to hear people say, oh, well, Marjorie Taylor Greene's out there talking about, the real stuff going on. Yeah, sure she is. Yes, Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's talking about things that matter, and she's also insider trading and taking money. It's proof, it's right there. There's nobody in this government anymore that are working for you. They are all giving you talking points to the extent that they can to keep you thinking that this charade is actually real. Nothing is being done in your interest. They are taking what you wanted, the American people's message, right or left, whether you like Donald Trump, whether you didn't like Donald Trump, whether you like a Charlie Kirk or you didn't like a Charlie Kirk. They took the will of the American people, the overwhelming will of the American people, and they're spitting in your face. They used and preyed on your emotions. They used and preyed on your frustrations. They used and preyed on your desperation, and now they have your vote. Fuck you. We got what we needed from you, and we don't need you anymore. What I really wish they would do is just cancel the elections and say, hey, we are going to be the dictators. At least at that point, all the masks are off and we know what the rules are. This charade that you're living in, I hate to tell it to you, and there ain't no fancy t-shirt that I'm going to try and sell you at the end of this. I'm going to tell you to like, comment, subscribe, and pass this message along. There's nothing fancy to this. This message won't get out unless you pass it on. Unless you start talking about it. Unless we start talking about real stuff. Unless we talk about what's actually happening to us. What we saw yesterday was a paid mouthpiece who at one point stopped accepting all of the talking points. That's exactly what you saw. A silencing of someone who was waking up and realized, wait a minute. While I may agree with a lot of the things that are going on here, I have to reevaluate. Is everybody getting this? Are we putting for all my left-wing people out there, anybody left-wing watching this, I want you to go to your left-wing friends or a left-wing activist group that you're involved in, and I want you to say any of the things that I'm saying that are common sense and that left-wing people can get behind in this country. You will be ostracized from your group. It's not about left or right. It is about you individually thinking, individually idealizing, and knowing what's going on actually. For yourself of both of those prisons. It's funny, a guy, at the end of the day, it's a 31-year-old guy with 2 kids. And he's dead. For what? Why? Because he said something that pissed people off? Or that people disagreed with? You could say that there's a lot of enemies out there. You could say that it's in your Senate. You could say that it's in your House of Representatives. You could say it's our president. You could say it's the super PACs and lobbyists who have taken control of the interests of your government. You could say that it's the foreign interests and foreign lobbies that have been introduced into our government with no accountability whatsoever. You could say that it is the police departments out there that are enforcing these draconian laws that they're continuing to pass. More and more laws. More and more laws. More and more laws. Why? It was once said that a corrupted government has the most laws. And we have more executive orders and more laws and more laws and more laws for the laws. How much longer? It's my question to everybody. How much longer? How much longer are you going to accept slop? How much longer are you going to look to these influencers who are getting paid and don't bring on real people to discuss real issues in this fucking country? Nothing. All these right-wing grifters out there had better take note of what just happened. Is that a threat? It's absolutely not. It's a warning. It's hey, you'd better look out. Because not only are you going to piss off the interests of whatever people are funding you, you've got people right now who are tired. They're looking to people to guide them, to give them leadership, to give them something, to give them an answer to the craziness that's going on. And I'll tell you what, motherfuckers, to the Steven Crowders out there, to the Jimmy Dores out there, to all of those guys who don't bring regular people on, who want to actually talk, who bring in their same influencers, you're not solving anything. You keep selling your prepackaged coffees. You keep trying to make money off of this. And guess what? You're going to find real people on the right who are going to outflank you, who are going to bring a real message on what's really going on. It's already happening. Obviously, none of this advocates what just happened. A 31-year-old guy getting shot in the neck because he has an opinion differing from somebody else. Not only that, it's a guy who, whether you like him or not, offered everybody the opportunity to take a mic and have a conversation. If we're at the point in this country where we can't converse, what happens next? Like, comment, subscribe to the video if you saw it. I'm not pandering. This isn't me saying, oh my God, Charlie Kirk, and a man's dead. The man's dead today. And you're going to have a bunch of people who pander, and you're going to have a bunch of people who give you crocodile tears. And the fact of the matter is, a 31-year-old man is dead for expressing opinions that people don't like. And we call this the land of the free. And we call this the home of the brave. You know what? This is not the land of the free. And we are a bunch of fucking cowards. We are a bunch of cowards who have not stood to the face of what's actually going on out there. They're robbing you blind. They're taking away your rights. They're laughing at you while they do it. They're showing you a two-tier justice system. They're saying if you're rich, or if you have enough money in your pocket, there is a way out. There's a get out of jail free card. I've seen it. Everybody's seen it. Two-tier justice system, two-tier education system, two-tier traveling system, two-tier system. And that's what they don't want you knowing. And that's what they don't want you talking about. While we sit here and argue about a man who's dead, while we sit here and argue about all the nonsense that we've been arguing about, you can't feed your family. They've got more cameras on you while you do it. We're less educated, and they're laughing in your face as they go and take your taxes, steal them, and drop bombs, and make Lockheed Martin rich. Everybody talking about, oh, well, the stock market. The stock market is at an all-time high. How well are you doing? How's it working out for you? That stock price goes up. Are you seeing more of that? Or is this a system that figured out a long time ago that people don't know how money works, so we're going to put a stock market together so people think that they know how the scam works? I'll end this way. For anybody out there, who wants to come and take a shot at me, go for it. I'm right here. I ain't afraid of you. I'm going to say what I want, when I want, and how I want to. And I'm not afraid of you. Not one bit. People need to stop being afraid. People need to speak out. People need to research and actually do the things that they need to do to be educated to what's going on. The left and right ain't your enemy. Charlie Kirk was not your enemy. Like, comment, subscribe, share the video. Follow me on Instagram. You can follow me at DDT018Z. DDT018Z. You could follow shorts and reels that I put there and help educate people. I will be back on shortly to talk about 911, 9/11, and the sham that is. I'll be back soon. I appreciate everybody. Take care of yourselves, your families. Be informed.